Welcome along, strange historians. This is the Strange History Podcast. I hopefully am your favorite strange historian. Before I begin, please like and share this episode and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. Oh, and do me a favor and check out the links below to learn how to support my channel. So now sit back and pour yourself a cup of coffee or a tankard of tea or a mug of mead or a chalice of cider or a flagon filled with any beverage of your choice and join your fellow strange historians around the campfire. Imagine, today is October 9th, 1893. You are in Chicago. This is one of the most exciting days of your life. Unfortunately, you are not able to share it with your two closest friends who missed their train earlier today and will be arriving tomorrow morning, where you will meet them at the hotel that has been arranged for the three of you. Thankfully, when you were wandering around the train depot early this morning, wondering what to do after having received the telegram about your friends, you were approached by a kind gentleman named HH Holmes. He asked you if you were lost. And when you told him of your circumstance, he generously offered to let you a room in his newly built hotel at 63rd and Wallace. He was even sympathetic enough to your situation that he took your luggage there so you would not be stuck carrying it around all day. He also invited you to the apartment that he and his wife share on the 3rd floor of the hotel, saying how well his wife and you will get along. So far, everything is working out in spectacular fashion. You now have the entire day to yourself to explore. And since the reason you are in town is to attend the World's Columbian Exposition, you may as well spend it there. Learning to navigate through it will most certainly save some time tomorrow so you can show your friends around with much ease. Straight from the get-go, you are simply overwhelmed with this extraordinary scene that is unfolding around you. In the center is a large water pool that represents the voyage that the courageous Christopher Columbus took when he came across the New World no one in Europe or Asia or anywhere else had ever seen before. The architecture of the building structures here, there, and everywhere are so symmetrical that they fill your mind with absolute wonder. In the program guide, it says that they incorporate what is known as neoclassical architecture. It's all the more impressive in that the building's facades are a gleaming shade of white. In fact, you read a newspaper article a few days ago where the fairgrounds around you have been nicknamed the White City. This is perhaps what the ancient Greeks imagined Mount Olympus to look like. Yes, this looks like the sort of place where the gods and goddesses live. The article also mentioned the names and biographies of the genius architects who designed so many of these great buildings that are dispersed over nearly 700 acres. Thank goodness you are returning over the next few days, because just looking around and knowing what you know from the papers, there is no way you can see this all in one day. Did you read it right when an article said there are at least 200 new buildings here? Just in this quick and early glimpse, you sure can believe it. And look how they're arranged. There are gracefully arranged canals and delightful lagoons. It's been said that people from 4 dozen cultures are represented here. Originally, you and your friends were planning to come here in May of this year, but you kept reading that the grounds were not fully completed, and you wanted to be able to enjoy the fair in all its fabulous splendor. Especially since none of you have ever left your small town before. And this would be your first expedition to a big city. And for you, the first time on such a long train journey. Yes, your family and friends were concerned about your coming here, but finally they relented. After all, you and your friends are going to be together. And so you and your friends waited, and waited, and waited, and then the time was right. I mean, wow, look at this place. It is amazing what Chicago has been able to pull off with such short notice. And also considering that much of Chicago was destroyed in that horrific fire in 1871, less than 20 years ago. You were just a child at the time. The world has changed so much in your short lifespan. And looking around you, the thought of what the future will bring is so exciting that it almost hurts your brain to think about it. The future, your future, is going to be an exciting place to be. After all, look at those streetlights along the boulevard. You read that when the sky gets dark, they will be illuminated with a new invention called electricity. And it's all so brilliant, and perhaps the day will come when you will have electricity in your home. Won't that be something? You can hardly imagine, but that day will come, and you will live to see it all happen. Hours and hours have passed since you first arrived, and you're still continuing to have an incredible time strolling through the exhibition halls. There is no way you are ever going to forget anything you have seen and are seeing. But as soon as you get back to your lodging house, to that hotel provided by Mr. HH Holmes, you must write this down in letters and postcards and mail them off to your family right away. They're going to be so thrilled for you, they may even want to come and join you here. There are so many amusements, and you simply can't take the time to enjoy them all, and you don't want to enjoy them all because you want to save some of these experiences for the time that you will spend with your friends tomorrow and in the coming days. Especially that! You have never seen anything like that before. It's called a Ferris wheel. And it was built by a gentleman named George Washington Gale Ferris Jr. And even from this distance, it is simply enormous. You read that his wheel is 264 feet high. What's more, it is nearly 40 carriages of some sort that each can accommodate 40 people. Oh, tomorrow cannot come soon enough. Imagine being up there. I mean, gosh, it's so high. And from there, you'll be able to survey the entire fairground, but also so much of the city of Chicago. You may even be able to see as far as Wisconsin and across the Great Lake and over to Michigan. Being on that Ferris wheel will be the closest thing an earth-bound human will get to looking down from heaven, as the angels do. More and more hours have passed, and you wonder how many more magnificent memories can possibly fit in your mind that is now filled to the brim with so many incredible sights and sounds. And even food, there are so many restaurants here. It is impossible to pick and choose your favorite attraction, but the life-size reproductions of Christopher Columbus's 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, is like something out of your wildest daydreams. And to think that they were constructed in Spain and then sailed to America for this exposition. What on earth could possibly be more exciting than sailing on them? Well, I think you could answer that question. Perhaps being here right now and seeing them at this grand event. You now have stories you will be able to share with your children and grandchildren and just about everyone you meet from this day forward. And you will do so with a smile upon your face and sparkles in your eyes, because this has turned out to be the grandest day of your life. It has filled your heart with so much hope for humanity and what can be accomplished when magnificent minds come together to create something beautiful. Just like all these wonderful inventions, they'll be making everyone's lives so much more exciting and enjoyable. There's going to be something called moving pictures and a moving walkway. It's called a travelator. And you have purposely avoided watching the Egyptian belly dancers for too long. That is going to be something for tomorrow, where you may even try doing the hoochie coochie yourself. Oh, and word has it that Helen Keller was recently here, and you wonder if she was taught to belly dance. Oh, and also Dr. Alexander Graham Bell was here, and so many geniuses from near and far. And why not? There has never been anything as spectacular as this before, and perhaps there may never will be. But if there is, you will attend that too. Because life is short, yeah? And each and every moment is precious, and we are only here one time around. And so you should take advantage of every opportunity to be surrounded by good and kind people who are engaged in wonderful things to make the world a happier place. And with that thought, the night sky has consumed the day, and the streetlights are illuminated, as are countless thousands of bulbs within the buildings all around you. And you close your eyes, and you take in a deep breath and store away all the memories you have made today, so they will not be replaced by anything else, and you can revisit them in the future. You open your eyes and look around at the heavenly space around you, and for a brief moment, as you stand along the shores of the lagoon, and a cool wind skims along the calm surface and blows against your skin, and your hair blows back a bit, and you feel slight tingles from your fingers and then up your arms and around your neck, and then they dissipate and all is calm. You really do wonder if, for a brief moment, you have died and gone to heaven. But then you come to your senses and realize nothing could be further from the truth. You are here in Chicago on this beautiful night, and you have your whole life ahead of you, and you are so very excited about it. But for now, it has been a long day, and you're tired and hungry, and you're thinking about the meal that Mr. HH Holmes' wife has prepared for this evening. And you don't want to be rude and arrive too late. And you also want to leave here before the fairgrounds close and everyone is in a mad dash for the exits. And so you leave this fairground, but only for the evening, for you shall return tomorrow. And wow, you have so much to show your friends. The look on their faces will be priceless. Absolutely priceless. This is great. You are traveling in a carriage that is moving forward using a technology called electric traction. It has been great fun, but this is where you get off. And when you carefully do, you find yourself standing in front of a wide building with what appears to be 2 or possibly 3 stories, and there are several protruding bay windows. The address is correct, so this must be it. You can see that there are stores along the entire ground floor, but since it's late, the stores clearly are not opened. Wow, it's quiet here. There's nobody even walking around. Hopefully you didn't get here too late, and hopefully Mr. and Mrs. Holmes are not angry with you. Perhaps they already ate, and if so, well, maybe they'll prepare a dish for you to bring to your room. Oh yes, your room. It's going to be so nice to enter and take off your shoes and to just sit for a while. Before even washing up, perhaps, no, don't sit for too long. You may fall asleep. After dinner, clean yourself up. Put on your night clothes and then close your eyes and daydream about today. And maybe, for a little while, daydream about tomorrow. And then sleep as peacefully as you ever slept in your life. You hear a door open, and in the shadows, holding a lantern, appears to be, yes, it looks like Mr. Holmes. You wave to him and quicken your pace, and he welcomes you with a smile. You apologize for your tardiness, and he tells you not to give it a second thought, because neither he nor Mrs. Holmes have eaten. They've been waiting for you. He tells you that Mrs. Holmes has your room all ready, and you can go in there and change first, and then you can meet them in their apartment for a sumptuous meal and even a glass of wine if you like. That makes you laugh. A glass of wine? Really? Maybe. Why not? You only live once, right? And so you follow Mr. Holmes through the entry located on the corner of 63rd and Wallace, and pass through a hallway that leads to a staircase. You follow Mr. Holmes, who tells you that he wants to ask you about your day, and it would be best to hold off on the conversation until dinner time. He tells you that he knew you would be tired, and so he gave you a room on the top floor, in a far corner, away from the noises of the morning, where you won't be able to hear anything. And because of all the insulation that he put in the walls for the benefit of making it soundproof, you won't even hear noises or people in the hallway. He said, it'll be like you're dead to the world. And so you nod your head and say that's okay by you, as long as you are awake early in the morning to meet your friends at the depot. You tell him how much fun you and your friends are going to have tomorrow. Mr. Holmes assures you that tomorrow will be a day that your friends will never forget. And so you follow him down the dark corridor, and he puts a key in the door and he slowly opens it up. He walks in first and you follow him. Sure is dark in here. He tells you that there is a lantern in the corner, and he will bring you some candles. And so you turn to your right, waiting for your eyes to adjust to the darkness, when you feel a cloth-filled hand over your mouth and nose. You're instantly startled, and you manage to pull yourself away and to escape his grip. And he holds onto your arm, so you turn towards him, and with all your strength you scratch at his face and you punch and you kick him, but it's so dark in here and you don't know what, if anything, you're hitting, and your arms feel very heavy or weak or the effects of whatever was in that cloth seems to, and the room seems to be spinning, and you hear the door shut, and you hear a lock. And you move to the door and you feel around for the knob, but there isn't one. The door is smooth, top to bottom. And so, with what strength you have, you try to stay coordinated, and you're now banging on the door, and all you hear is a muffled sound, and you could hear yourself scream. And you're banging and banging on the door, and there must be some sort of mistake, because clearly there's something wrong with the lock, and he's off to, yeah, he's off to find tools, so, to fix this, but why? That cloth, what was that? Regaining consciousness, you're on your back, on the floor, and you're hungry, thirsty, mentally and physically and emotionally exhausted, and your hands hurt from banging on the walls, and your feet hurt from kicking at the door, and your back hurts. You're so weak and confused. And how long have you been here? Just moments? Hours? Days? What's that? You hear a door open? There's a glimmer of gray light penetrating through the shadows. A flickering candle, perhaps, and you want to scream, and you open your mouth, but nothing comes out. As Mr. Holmes approaches you and he smothers a cloth over your face and nose, and there's a medicinal scent upon him. And you don't want to breathe in, but you can't hold your breath. You just can't. So you breathe in deep draughts of air. And then he exits. And the last remnants of the light that seeped in from the hallway disappears as he closes the door, and he leaves you all alone in this dark space. And this is a dark space. It's darker than it was before. That doesn't seem possible. You move your hand in front of your face because it feels like the cloth is either there or it's not there, and you notice your hand doesn't hurt any longer. And neither does your elbow, and your other hand doesn't hurt either. Nor do your feet or your legs. Nothing hurts anymore. Oh, maybe he gave you some medicine. Yeah, something to make you feel better. 'Cause you're no longer hungry. And you're no longer thirsty. And you can see yourself. There you are. You're in a field. And a mystifying mist encompasses you. And looking up, all the words you never said and never will say swirl around you like warming whirls of whispering wind. And in your ears there's a ringing, and it's so soft, and your mind is filled with all the songs you never sang, and all the songs you'll never sing. And you feel in your hand the gentle touch of someone who loves you. Because you've always wanted to love someone and have them love you back. And you're so young. Because everyone who's alive is so young, because as long as you live, as long as there is breath in your lungs, and as long as your heart beats, you are young. No matter how old you are. Because tomorrow's another day, and you have your whole future ahead of you. No matter how long it lasts. And every moment truly is an eternity, because so much can happen in any given moment. And there are so many things you want to see, and so much you want to hear, and so many people you want to meet. You had so much life ahead of you. And it's all been robbed from you. Not just from you, but all those who would have met you. That monster robbed you of everything, everything. He took away your future. He robbed you of everything. Except your memories. And you don't have enough memories yet. But this is what monsters do. They prey on you. And they eat everything they can get. And it's all so sad, and it's all so bad, and there just isn't anything you can do. And as your eyes adjust, you look down and you see yourself lying there on the floor of this dark room, all alone. And you don't know how much time has passed. Minutes, hours, days. How long have you been trapped in this room? Perhaps it's been scarcely a moment. And as you think this, you feel yourself being pulled toward the door, and you can't fight it. And for a brief moment, it feels like you're completely naked, and sheets of silk are softly sliding upon your body as you slowly pass through the door. And now you find yourself in the hallway, where you were before this miserable nightmare began. You have finally left that room. Finally. After all your screams and all your prayers and all your hopes, you are now out here in this dimly lit hallway. And you feel yourself passing through a series of doors. And you're higher than you should be. You're sort of hovering near the ceiling. You notice that your feet are not touching the floor. You're not walking. And from this vantage point, you can see through the walls around you. And there are others, so many others, some here now and some from long ago, and some not here yet. But you can see them, and you are completely helpless to warn them, or help them, or do anything. And it is now that once again you are reminded that the pain you felt is gone, and you are now leaving this house of horrors. And you're now over it. You're outside. You have escaped somehow, some way. And the cool breeze is blowing in from the Great Lake. Oh, and the night is crisp and clear, and as you float higher and higher above Chicago, in the near distance, you see the fairground. That fantastical fairground where daydreams come true and will continue to come true. And you see the dazzling illuminations along the boulevards and within the buildings. And you know the future will be bright and beautiful as you float above the clouds and into the brightest and most exquisite everlasting light. And so, this concludes this episode of the Strange History Podcast. If you enjoy this episode, kindly like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. If you want to support my research and hear more shows like this, please click on the link below so you can see how you can make a donation directly to me, and also join me on other platforms where I post exclusive content. And of course, I will appreciate it if you could leave a super thanks below. Kindly be kind to all non-human animals, and please don't eat them. They don't like it. Take my word for it. And please do yourself a favor and go to a local shelter and adopt a cat or a dog. You and they will be very glad that you did. Until next time, I wish you safe travels on all your journeys.